Today we look at examples from section 3.4. As we move through chapter 3, we are accumulating various derivative rules. And in this particular section, we look at the product rule and the quotient rule. And so we've got an example of each of those here. This broadens the set of examples that we are able to work with, the set of examples that we can find a derivative for. Let's look at this first one with the product rule. Now this one, actually we could do this without the product rule. But we will see examples, particularly once we get into the next section, where the product rule is unavoidable. Now if we want to take the derivative of this with the product rule, we're going to take the derivative of the first factor here, leave the second factor alone, and then do the opposite. Okay, when I'm taking the derivative of t to the fifth and of the square root of t, I'm using the power rule. Okay, now at this point we've taken our derivative. And on an exam, I would accept it like this, even though it's not all the way simplified as far as it could go. At this point we have used our derivative rule. Anything beyond this is doing some algebra to simplify things. But let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and simplify our expression a bit here. Okay, so 4 is 8 halves, so when I multiply this, this is going to be 5t to the 9 halves plus 5t to the fourth, and then I'm going to have 1/2 t to the 9 halves. Okay, using rules of exponents there. 5 plus 1/2 is 11 halves. You get t to the 9 halves plus 5t to the fourth. I encourage you to take this, look back at the original function, and take the derivative the other way that we have available in this case, which is to first multiply out and then take the derivative. And you may very well find that for this example you prefer that, and that's fine. But again, as I said, we will certainly see examples, particularly once we get past these, past this section, where we must use the product rule because we don't have the option of another method. Okay, quotient rule. In this case, and I'm not writing out the rule, you can, certainly reference that, but we take the derivative of the numerator, multiply that by the denominator, and then we subtract and we do the opposite. Numerator times the derivative of the denominator, and then all that over the denominator squared. Okay, again, at this point we have taken the derivative, but if we were to simplify this, we'd get 1 minus t squared over t squared plus 1 squared. Okay, so that's an example of the product rule and the quotient rule. Hope you found that helpful. See you in the next video.